Alright, hello, this is Jake, like gaming lawyer at your service. We're once again back with the great ace attorney. Alright, and we are gonna make sure this guy gets what he deserves. In jail, or death. Whatever time period this is, whatever punishment he will get, yes. Probably most likely death penalty. But alright, anyways. Oh shit, I really can't stop doing that for some reason. Maybe I'm getting nervous or getting excited or whatever, I have no idea. Let's do this. Let's continue pressing all the statements and see if we can, with that, at the end, is something we have to present. What statement we... Mr. Winniebank emerged from the storm, I believe. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in all my life. Yeah, we're just a regular mob-man of burglars, that's all. We don't like violence. Says the pair who carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. But I was wrong. I was trying to help me live above, but the old geezer chucked me over the blooming counter. So I pulled me a gun on the old fella and that soon made him scupper. The pair of you setting upon the poor, defenseless pawnbroker together. Shame on you. Sorry, God. Alright. Well, I was supposed to press all the statements, apparently. Ballad! Requesting the Lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Explain yourself, officer. After a result of the testing was ordered earlier, my lord. Ah, the blood on the accused's overcoat. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord. Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. The traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of a spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report. Goodness me! Are you very certain? See, what did I tell you? No, the blood on the coat's not Mr. Winniebank's. What on earth makes you say that, counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Winniebank's, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case. Well, the dead cannot speak, isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? Sorry? 2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilded's innocence? And yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. But that was... I call it a bally disgrace. Treasury, that's what it is. How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope can help the answer to that problem pop out. Can't be done. But... we use Mr. Sholmes' specially formulated... Mr. Sholmes... Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? I held out Piroski to a starving boy, and he ran away crying. Sherlock Holmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in the squadron. No weight at all. How could you say that? I mean, yeah, I know how you can say that, but no, how could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from the start to finish. How do you arrive at such conclusions, sir? As the witness said, the accused's coat was splattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. Or if he was the murderer himself. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case that, well, there's another way you can know why that the coat is not why the coat has blood on it. Ah, you don't have to know. You have to see the murder happen, because there's a different way to know. My lord, been a lot better this one, but this old horse has something to say now, if you please. Mr. Foreman, as of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, man. All for one now. Sir, sir.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
This jury is a joke. Really, it's a joke. Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jury's decision being equally successful. Ugh. Wag! I don't believe it. After all I've come so far, how is it all unraveling on me so fast? Are we gonna do another summaries examination? No. Oh, wait. Don't tell me this is... How very distressing. To be held in such a low esteem. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Officer? You've delivered a report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo, that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. I know that voice. Am I going mad? Ah! His hair. Mr. Sholmes! What? What is the meaning of this? He finally appeared. Order! 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 What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard you were recuperating in hospital. As well as I would be had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Hurley, it's really you. You're awake at last. Yes, good day, Iris. Appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time? What say you to this, Lord Von Zooks? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly, having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would be seemed churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Yeah! Very well then, counsel, you have 5 minutes. Hey, well, can't say I'm not glad to meet you, Mr. Sholmes. Can't say I can't. Well, my dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Mr. Sholmes, are you alright now? Ha 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 ha. Alright, I'm all wrong. Sorry? I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked just for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out. Let's make this discussion as short as possible. Hurley, this place is full of idiots. None of them see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. Ah, well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of a sword to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community and oversight on my part. Right. Right. Modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow. What's that? A lavender furoshiki wrapping? A living present from Mrs. Sato. From Mrs. Sato? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't understand. Mr. Sato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means of devious and underhand. And you, Miss Naruto, finding fair as you are want to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. A living present from Sister Sato, son. Whatever could it be? What's this? Oh, it's the machine I made. Ah. Is it the... Look, I use this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the Flappomat. It can make a clap flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. Alright. What's Susie up to? Mr. Sato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. What? You just say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Damn, after so long I still remember how to voice her. Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes? That night, when you left Minibanks in pursuit of the thieves, Mr. Sato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow? Not at all cryptic, then. Susato's son used this flappomat that night. But why? I have no clue at all. Your 5 minutes is over. We're out of time already. I'm grateful to you for affording us a brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder... Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests. Time to think. I really have no idea. What's this? What can I do with this machine? What's this blue and red thing? What's... literally this thing borrows a door? No, I can't examine anything of this. Combination of rapid creation of small flaps and larger doors to allow cats to come and go freely. Further cross-examination. I think it's this one. Further cross-examination. The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now. The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a real witness, rather to continue with one of an existing witness. What? What? It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. My lord, requesting your lordship permission to interrupt the cross-examination.
Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily submitted. I presume you have no exception, consul?
No, my lord. So nobody can say anything then. If Bruno asks to resume his cross-examination on Mr. Graydon, the court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd.
I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its right to request the continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it.
A single chance to present evidence?
If following that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further.
My lord. Yes, my lord. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time I fell in a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands.
Mr. Sholmes!
You're looking at the wrong direction. Right, final statement.
To stand so insouciantly before the court in a state of such high fever Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling.
I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the end chambers. Recommend hands down, why don't you?
Well then, Counsel, are you fully prepared?
I have no idea, really. No idea. Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down, our eyes, or Iris. I don't want to waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial.
Very well. Under these terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
Alright. The moment of the shooting again. Remember the bank crew, when I over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. Pushed the man, but he shot himself in the storm. I could see the through the porthole. His lordship is only giving the army to present one piece of evidence here. It's clear what his evidence should be.
How in the world did she manage to sing off with this without me noticing? Is she using it in the pawnbrokery?
There was no people. Is that what they are trying to say? Oh, can't be. There was no people. There was no people. But what evidence? Alright, now I know. Okay, that was very sneaky of them, putting that thing. Wow, what a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. Should I press this first? Mr. Crane, I take issue that I can't press it anymore, is it? No, my learned friend, I take issue with you. Oops. His lordship made it very clear that the defense is permitted to present only a single evidence or piece of evidence. The prosecution demands stern punishment for any mischief used to make more of this cross-examination. Oh no! Ah! Okay. Bloody hell! Alright, can't come. Oh, oh, oh! I'm gonna try this one, alright? I have one extra life, 2 lives. I'm gonna try using the photograph of Gina. Or I should just use this. I'll try this one first, alright? Alright, okay, I guess that's evidence. Bloody hell. Right then.
What on earth is that eccentric contraption, Counsel?
It's my clap flapper, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. Can cut through any door you can think of and make a little door in the middle of it.
That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please, without their... I'm sure we can all work that out of ourselves.
Eh?
But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door.
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand.
Perhaps it would help if I describe its function another way then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windybank had taken place. That's right, according to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it recently come to my attention that my assistant made us use of this device at the time.
Your assistant did what?
There was a peephole in the storeroom, though. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed a crime, for pity's sake? Yes, how could you? What?
Counsel, kindly say what you mean.
Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the people in the storeroom door until such time as she did, the door had no hole in to look through.
What? No!
Objection!
This is a farce. Are you really suggesting that the people in the door was... Yes, it was all created only after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistant using this device.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions. It is a most serious act of vandalism.
For which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the skulking brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes. Literally.
Riddled with? Explain yourself, counsel.
The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storm door. Yes, that filthy girl shoot the man in the back. However, if that at the time of the incident, that peephole did not exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you have claimed to have seen. Grrr. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Ugh.
Order! 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 Is there any credence in this revelation?
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly. This is some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir.
Of course it is. Do you seriously expect people to believe that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door?
Oh yes, I design it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest doors, even human.
It's absurd. I don't believe it for a second.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
What?
Waggy, curry, time for dinner.
Where did you make that door? Well,
Ah! Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling at the Old Bailey.
I'm not done yet. Don't worry. This doesn't mean the people in the storm door at the Windybanks was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that was.
No, but it's easy.
What?
The cap flaps my cap flap-o-mat creates are all of a fixed size, and the dimension of the people at Windybanks are an exact match.
Ugh.
Helsinki is lost for words.
Excellent work, Iris. Thank you. And now it's my learned friend, student friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. Huh? I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the people has dimensions that are perfectly fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the people cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zix?
It's very simple. It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the people was created after the incident using the device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof. And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the people was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation. What? Why don't be so dramatic? We are okay, we already know the answer.
Indeed, it is so, Lord Van Zix. Well, Consul?
Don't give up now, Runo. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through.
I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world.
Very well. The counsel for the defense will present the evidence to support a claim. Proof that a peephole in the door of Windybank Zone was created after the event, not before.
This one. What are you? A print of from that detective's Inferno cameras again? My judicial assistant, Mrs. Sato Mikotama, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is this photographic print, Counsel.
This print shows a scene the short moments after the defendant entered the premises. Agreed. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielded a gun in the direction of the defense's broker. But more to the point, it pictures the storm door in the background.
Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. There really is quite a remarkable door to the storeroom. It's completely devoid of a peephole of any description.
Ah, Mr. Creighton, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door. Ugh. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies. Ugh. Ugh. God. Ah.
Order! I am satisfied that the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness's testimony was entirely fallacious.
That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with the crime scene. But more importantly,
Good lord, there's more, Lord 16.
the defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene. It's true. And I was shot in the arm. It's true, but that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh, please. No! I don't believe this. But they are right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit.
Still, he can't worm his way out of this now.
Iris,
You know what they say? There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Isn't that right, Bruno? As Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait, there might be a line I wrote for him in one of my stories.
well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but lies you told you make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean such remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely, the bloodstains on the coat. The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat. That's right, the victim's blood spattered all over her when she shot him. How could you possibly have known that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the people in the... The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Now let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the people in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously I... Ah!
Has the cat caught your tongue, witness?
The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windybanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, yes, of course. The parish is chock full of pawn articles and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I give the order to have office work around the clock in shifts so we get through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door. So in fact, its existence forms the basis of your testimony. It's completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door.
How on earth is that possible?
Can I have a word with Lord Van Zix? Speak, Inspector.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so it's all the same to you.
Permission denied. Oh. It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes.
Of course, sir.
Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else. Ugh.
Objection.
Stop there, my learned friend. You'll realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have revealed him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person it could be.
Who is the person in question, counsel? Who gave his witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
Take that.
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Eh, me?
Objection.
You had better had some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today.
Indeed, preparation for his testimony were made with great urgency during our long-hour recess, while the police executed a subpoena and brought the man here from the communications station.
And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned?
Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position, and he would have to defend himself against the accusation that it was a third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information, so they could commit perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person who had knowledge of the investigation that he had only any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
Yes, this is a blooming outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigation to this fellow, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in that case. Had you forgotten that? Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
Which means the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then they've been full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't have possibly occurred. Ah.
Oh, I've just remembered something, Bruno. What is it?
What is it, Iris?
There was one time before I wasn't there. I think it was when Ginny was testifying.
Oh yes, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGill's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it. Was during that testimony. I remember finding it strange at that time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret conversation. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon that information he needed then.
You little toe rag, you're making all this up. I'm the Inspector Scotland Yard's inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of blokes of this bloke?
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind that started to make more sense. What deal, counsel? I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance.
Objection.
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusations is this Nipponian student's specialty. I don't do that. But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent of the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal. If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it.
Bruno, do you think it could be...
Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle.
I must press you for an answer now, counsel. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness?
Oh, that scared me. I thought I pressed that button. Nature of the alleged deal the inspector made with the witness. Small music box or this music box disc? I'm gonna try this.
Take that.
Oh, I'm correct. Inspector Gregson, besides this murder, it is not true that you've been working on another very important case.
What are you getting at now, Sunshine?
It's possible that this other top secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here. The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. How the bleeding Nora could you? We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited the Winniebanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very unlikely now that they encoded on the pair of discs that were in McGilded's possession. The leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover that second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Grayson, and which you exchanged the disc for details of the date of the case. You little...
Order!
On the day of the incident, when we met you at Winniebanks, you said this.
I'll be taking that whatever it is from McGilded down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine. That is mine.
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Scotland Yard already knew at that time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets.
My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on a QT, strictly hush-hush.
And that explains why, when I presented this as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information.
Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all. Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crimes into the witness. To aid and abet this man is giving a false testimony.
There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men.
Naga!
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc, as we speak here, in this very courtroom. Excuse me, I need to take a drink. I've been speaking non-stop for maybe 4 hours, but I gotta do this. Even if it breaks my voice, I gotta do this. It would mean the second this is, as we speak here, in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In his room? How could you possibly make a claim like that? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What? What's that supposed to mean, eh? As a seasoned policeman, the inspector would have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly, he would have not accepted the gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious, then you mean to say Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person.
The defense demands that the inspector search at once.
Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before, and Brixie hasn't moved from the witness stand here since.
My lord, please, order an examination of these personal effects immediately.
Ooh, well, Inspector. This young lady wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough. However, if you put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts of my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search.
What? It's going to agree to it? I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded. That sounds serious.
Indeed, to have a visiting student make such defamatory remarks about a country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
You're just dreading Bruno because you're scared.
The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences. It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here.
Very well, counsel. You know the implications, so let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects?
Was there someone else? Or something else? Would there be someone else holding it? I doubt no. Gina will be holding it? No, I don't think so. I really can't. I really do not know. Can't be anyone else unless search him, search someone else, withdraw the request. Withdraw the request, right? I'm pretty sure that's what I have to do. Withdraw the request. If they don't find anything, I'll be in serious trouble here. No, my lord. The defense withdraws the request. Tisk. Pathetic. Pathetic. Sorry? One little threat and you ban your beliefs, do you? I always had a suspicion your samurai spirit would be no match for the chivalry of the Brits. In that case, I've changed my mind. The defense has to demand the search, my lord.
And in that case, Council, I have no choice but to penalize your fickle mind.
Alright. That went well.
I have to agree with Grexy. You can't turn your back on what you believe.
No, I suppose not.
Let me clarify your position once and for all, Council.
Yes, my lord. Yes, search him. Yes, the defense demands that Inspector Crescent is searched at once.
Very well. Are you ready to proceed, Inspector?
Be my guest, sir. And so a brief body search was carried out by the court bailey. And a few short moments later, it was revealed that the inspector had nothing unusual on his person at all. Uh-oh. Gah! I lost.
Oh no!
Alright. This didn't happen. This didn't happen. Okay, do this. Where did it save me? Oh, that's quite long. Right, I'm gonna pause this one. No, we're way over. I knew that we were way over, right? Alright, but I think there's still more to this. So I think I will stop here. This will be a special 1 hour, or maybe the next one will be another special hour. Well, we'll see. We'll see, alright? Anyways, hope you have enjoyed this episode. It's a long episode. I hope it was not too boring. And in any case, thank you for watching. We'll see what's the right. I guess the only decision is the one I didn't choose. Okay then. Anyways, sorry. Take care. Stay hopeful, but be critical, right? Bye bye.